All right, everybody, man, we are back. Unfiltered Kings podcast, where men and women talk to each other. We have another great episode. So, man, we just gonna jump right into this thing, and we have a lovely guest, man, a beacon of light, definitely that we had to get on the show, and so we'll
Yeah,
definitely get an opportunity to introduce ourselves to some and talk to others, and definitely get into a good conversation. As we said, man, Unfiltered King podcast, it wasn't all about the men, man. We just had to lay the foundation. And so we're definitely happy that we have one of the many queens that we're going to be bringing on here. We're just going to try to have some unfiltered talk between kings and queens, man. Get a better understanding, even if we agree to disagree. At least we understand each other a little bit better, man. So this is the Unfiltered King podcast, man. Before we get started, let's get to know each other, man. We family here. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off to my man Lowe's, man. Introduce yourself to the people.
hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Carlos. As everyone to know, I'm the Debonair one. The other two are just extras. So don't be alarmed. We'll still get this done.
Man, that's a good way to get yourself not introduced anymore, man. But okay, we'll let him have that, man. You know what I mean? That's my brother, man. So he say he's debonair, then okay, we'll let him have that. Frankie, man, introduce yourself to the people, brother.
Frankie, I guess I'm the extra to the Debonair one up there. So, uh,
You're the
I'm not
person
the main
walking
character. No. I'm guy number 3 in the movie, you know. So I'm
man,
probably like all the way down at the bottom of the credits or something like
man.
that.
Ralph
Nah.
Truggervant, Bobby Brown.
Hey.
Hmm.
GQ dog, member of Omega Psi Phi, Zulu, Paul Quinn College, spring 2008, baby. Root to the cubes.
All right, man. Got it on Mega Man in the house, man. Glad to be here, man. And man, look, you're gonna learn a lot more about this beautiful show right here. But right now, Josh, if you can just introduce yourself to the people.
I am Josh. That's what friends call me. So I love to have, more friends. Just call me Josh. Um, I am a very introverted, extroverted person. So I just like to chill, hang out, and talk to the people.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now we have
Already,
an
already.
introvert that is willing to open up and share with you all. So you guys tune in and take advantage of this moment. But no,
Yes, sir.
seriously, we definitely have some have had some great conversations. I met this young lady through social media, just regular dialogue, man, and not often I'm inspired by some things that I read to chime in, but I definitely felt inspired to ask her to be a guest on here, and so I'm happy that you were able to take the time. My name is Jay, man. My name is Jay. I go by Jay. Member of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Paul Quinn College, man. Also a member of Freemasonry. And so I go, man, and just have some good conversations. So, man, you guys kind of sit back, man. Take this journey with us, man. Let's be unfiltered. And remember, you can always follow us on social media, Unfiltered King Podcast. I would go through all of them, but y'all know all of them. There's just Unfiltered King Podcast, and we're going to be there, okay? But definitely check out our YouTube page, man. That's where all of our episodes will eventually go. So we would love for y'all. Don't just like it, share it, follow it, do all those things, man. It definitely helps
Subscribe.
for us, okay? Subscribe. That's the word I was looking for. The like is good, but that subscribe is even better.
That's what we
Look, man,
need.
with that being said, we have a family atmosphere. Before we start anything, let's check the pulse of everybody, right? Before we jump in this thing, man, with that, we're going to turn it over to our Q dog, Frankie.
Already. You already know what time it is. Deep breaths in, exhale out. It's time for
Who's
the
hot?
vent.
Hmm.
And you know, as always, we do it with a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the greatest. Let us know what's on your mind, what is good, bad, exciting, messed up, whatever. You always gotta vent. I guess
Man,
I'll go first. You know, I'm kinda at a 3, man. I just found out a couple hours ago that my uncle passed, man, over
Oh
in
man,
Orlando, man. So shout out to my uncle Elijah Isaac, Uncle June, man. Rest in peace, man.
condolences,
I'll be
bro.
getting details pretty soon about the funeral and all this stuff, man. But he was a pretty big part of my life, man. Especially my beginning of my high school years. I spent my uh, freshman and half of my sophomore year in Pensacola, Florida. Went to the Greater Escambia High School, home of Emmitt Smith. And I stayed with him for probably like a 2 years, year and a half or something like that. And big influence in my life, man. Sad to see him go, man. Hope Omar, Jeanette, Armando, my Aunt Olga, she's Filipino. Hope they're doing, holding up well, man. And just sending prayers down that way to Orlando, Florida, man. But that's my vent. That's where I'm at. Since we got Josh here, wow, it's on you, Josh.
I would say that I am. Oh, wait. I feel like you could definitely give me a chat, if you need to talk. I know that at
Already.
three, I was like, okay. But I think today was a very hard day, so I'm gonna give it a 5. But I really enjoyed it. It was productive, but I had other things that was like rerouting my mind, so to speak. But I had things to do. But I felt like I want to do cup half full, right? So I just go with it and move on. Yeah.
Yep. That's cool. Los, where you at, baby?
Man, I'm gonna be about a 6. I'm gonna put it about a 6, but I'm gonna slowly bring it up because
that's decent.
Yeah, because when you look at life sometimes, and I was really talking earlier about it, how you only see out your eyes, so you can't see yourself. And when you start looking around, you start realizing that yourself can only be seen and critiqued by others.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me stop and slow down and say, you know what, I got to rethink some things, because how am I being perceived? Am I perceiving others based on my standards? So, it was an enlightening day.
Already. Last but not least, man. Jay, what's the deal, man? Vent for us, man. Get off your chest, baby.
Man, before I say anything, man, our condolences. Of course,
Most
don't
definitely.
get brother, man. We're brothers, we're family, but
Yeah.
needless to say, but it needs to be said that our sincere condolences go out to your loss. We definitely will dedicate this show to your loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking a little bit about mental health awareness being the month to honor that, and so seeing you here, seeing you engaged, man, we don't take that for granted. We definitely appreciate the fact that you still on, man. So I wanted to take an opportunity to say that just from one king to the next one. With that being said, man, I'm probably somewhere like a 3 or 4, man. I took a great loss. You guys know about it, man. My car was stolen Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. And so, but as disappointing as it was, there was just some things, man, that we talked about in our debriefing on Tuesday. After the fact, how, when things go good, and the enemy does attack. And with me being a believer, man, that really helped me get through this real life. Like, okay, God, like, all right, you know what I mean? And so, definitely just kind of turning the page, man. Got some information from some detectives today, and it looks like it's just going to be a loss. So, in life, we turn the page, right?
Yeah.
So definitely want to kind of affect everything. But here we are, man. But like I said again, man, great to have you all here, man. We always want to take that time, as Frankie said, man, vent, just get it out. A lot of times we jump into conversation and we don't even realize we got real stuff going on. Sometimes it's okay to table it. Sometimes let's get that out before we put something in. So we always try to utilize that vent session. Like I always say, again, that's probably one of my favorite parts of the episode, man. Let's check the pulse of the people we're talking to. Them a lot. All right, so we'll
never be afraid to get it off your chest, man.
That part, man. With that being said, look, man, we have a great show coming your way, man. As you guys can see, the best looking one on the screen, Los, I am not talking about you. We have a guest, Josh, man, and we are going to get in a very good conversation from a woman's perspective, man. From a woman's perspective, man. This is going to be an opportunity for us as men to kind of sit back. Let's peer in the side of the mind of a woman. Let's not take it as a defense, and let's kind of see if we can meet halfway and understand, man. If we can come up with a solution, fine. but we definitely look forward to what you have to say, Josh. You can hear me, but
Most
listening?
deaf.
Oh,
A woman talk on a man's ears, fellas. We're gonna have to let them come at us. Maybe it's something that we need to hear, or it could be something we're not hearing. But we definitely look forward to getting into the conversation.
Hey.
Before we get into the conversation. But before we do, we got one more part, man. What we're gonna do, we like to know what's happening, man. This doesn't necessarily have to be a current event that you see on TV, but something that's kind of caught our eye, man. And since you're joining us here on UKP, here's what we feel what's happening that it's on a need-to-know basis. And for that, man, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Defnar himself, Mr. Los. I can't believe I said that, but go ahead, man.
Good job.
Deb now.
Yeah. You know, I did pay for that, but we're going to be all right.
Yeah, checks in the mail, right?
Hey, let me get a cut. Let me get a cut of that.
You already got yours right now.
Huge opportunity, son. I can't play like that.
All right, everybody. What's happening? Normally give tidbits on how our day going or what's happening today and what's going on in the news. Well, if anybody had not been told or realized, but it's Men's Mental Health Month. And that's very near and dear to me. So I thought that I would change a little bit and just give a little information on what's happening about men's mental health. I got 3 things, and I want everybody to join along as we go through that. The first thing is take a breath. So I want everybody to take a deep breath, hold it a couple seconds, and release. All right? And release. All right, one more time. Deep breath. And release. All right. Studies show that taking that moment in time, the body will take in frustration, any type of tension, and upon releasing that, it actually relieves that tension. It is a motor function that happens within the body. So for men, we don't do that enough. We can say the word, but men, we don't do that enough. They recommend we do that at least 3 or 4 times in the morning and 3 or 4 times before you go to sleep. All right. Next one is take the time. Take the time. We make time for everything else, but not ourselves. That could be a 5-minute break to where you just sit and maybe just look at the sun, maybe just wonder about something nice, or listen to some music for 5 minutes to yourself. Find that time, because throughout the day when we go, we got everything going. Our mind is moving at 100 miles per hour, but we don't ever stop to think of ourselves. All right. And the last thing is take care. Now, this one is really important to me, and that's self-care. Take care means, what about you? What are you doing for you? Are you taking care of your health? Are you watching what you eat? Are you coming home getting rest? Are you finding that type of time that's important for you? Because what about you? You know, we got to keep the beard straight.
Right on.
Everybody ain't got locks like, him over there. No. So we're going to work with him. But what do you do for your hobbies? What time are you finding for yourself? So do that, man. So remember, take a breath, take time, and take care. It is Men's Mental Health Month. So brothers, friends, family, ladies too, remind that man today and tomorrow and the rest of this month, each day, to take those 3 things.
Right on.
Yeah, look, I love it, man. It kind of ties into our topic. You can hear me, but are you listening? A woman's talking a man's ears. What we're going to talk about a little later on. You know, a lot of times we don't realize what we don't know, and that affects the opposite gender, right? They do at times do a better job of some of those things. You listen. I know that when you were talking about that last piece, you stepped all over my toe. I'm like, okay, Carlos, dang.
Yeah, it was kind of directed in your direction.
That's very important, man. That's very important. As we get off into our conversation, man, we got to take care of ourselves, and so that's what's happening now, man. Like I said, if you know a king or a young prince out there, man, this month is set aside to take better care of self, right? In order that we may do the other responsibilities that we have. So we appreciate that, man. Man, look, the time has come. Y'all, I'm so excited. I'm
Let's get it.
With excitement. It's like, when we did our debrief, man, this is one of the few times where we've done a debrief that we wish that it would have just been the podcast, right? Like, man, we should just roll, right? But of course, I didn't let Josh know that we weren't recording, so we always want to respect privacy. But She agreed. This is recording now, and so we have her now. You got let's
we live, baby.
Yeah, man, let's get it.
Without further
Go.
ado, you can hear me, but are you listening? A woman's talk on a man's ears. What I will do now is turn it over to Josh, and I'll let her kind of explain how we got to this conversation. Just jump into the conversation, man. We'll just go from there. So without further ado, Josh, the floor is yours.
Let's go, Josh.
Yeah.
Big up, big up.
I think we began the conversation with it being what's one thing, what question did you ask me? What's one thing a man could do a little better? And I said be detail oriented, yes.
Yeah.
And so that we got to a point with Frank that it was being more intentional with your choices also. And this just kind of circled around down to this, little tunnel vision to it. But I'm telling you, I need you just to listen to me. Maybe I could have a better delivery to you. We can work on that. Whatever way you need to learn, do we need to be doing face-to-face and talking to each other, like calm, sitting, hugging, touching, that kind of stuff, like just doing work, right? But I still need you to hear what I'm saying. This is how I feel. So let's figure out how to work together so that we're not working against each other.
Okay.
Right. And you mentioned a point that I wanted to kind of just really jump in, because I think we as fellows, it's so good that we hear. You were talking about the example of when it comes to parenting a child, right? To where with your version of knowing the child and how that child operates versus a man just coming in and I'm just gonna do it my way, right?
Yeah.
This is how I done it with no communication or whatnot. And you're trying to partner with that person and showing them some methods that will help with the child, because of course you understand the child better. What are some things that you think? What are some reasons you think that men kind of miss that, right? Like that first go around where I'm throwing you all the signs, I'm giving you all the hints, I'm giving you all the clues, and we just kind of stumble on over. What is your lens of that? Why do you think that happened? What has been your experience of human?
That's why I said you got to start to practice how you understand what I'm saying, so that whatever I'm giving you, I still need you to understand it the way I intended, at least, right? It don't have to be exactly the same way, but I need you to just understand the message so that we can work on a solution, right?
Yeah.
I think that for me is the biggest thing, because I'm not a man, right? And I think that ego goes into that part with the child and the man, where who's the big dog in the house, right? And you don't listen to me, and he does understand that. But I also don't feel like you really I don't feel like you fuck with me, so why should I listen to you also? Even though I know it's right, and I might do it when you're not around, and I appreciate it, and I kind of like it, right? I'm just telling you from experience. I'm like, oh, I see him doing different. He's listening to you, but you're not also getting to know him, his friendly, his fun, and those kind of things. I need both of that. Because you can't tell him what to do if you can't tell him what to do, but you have to do that respectfully. He's still a person. He's a young person, and you're supposed to do that also. So
right. Okay. So what it sounds like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, our pride sometimes get in the way. I know you said that kind of type of way, that my way or the highway, so to speak. I always say there's a healthy sense of pride, and then there's an unhealthy sense of pride. Kind of talk to me, if you can, through experience or just prior experience and exposure, to when that pride gets toxic and it becomes counterproductive. Like you said, hey, if you see it's working, of course that's a turn on. That's more of a attraction that lets you know there's reciprocation. But talk about some time and what it looks like from your vantage point. I know you don't speak for every woman, but what does that look like when the pride gets toxic and, like you said, it just rushes into that I'm a man, so do what I say because I'm the man, so to speak. Kind of give us that moment right quick. What did that look like to you?
So my younger me, my younger Libra, remember I was telling y'all about the book I want to have. I ain't gonna drop my title real quick, but y'all know. So,
Right.
but you get in that space where you're wild, you don't know what you're doing, and you get a different reaction, right? So you put up with more, and you think it's cute sometimes, and you play the games and all of that kind of stuff. But now, my today mature self, I just try to work with it. Like I know skills, I know tools. That's what I went to school for. I try to practice it. I try to speak it, watch it, live it, like that kind of thing. You just really got to be intentional. So my reaction today would be quite different, but I don't do it. If it disturbs my peace, I just rather not, and I'll just let you sit over there for a second, and I won't be disrespectful because that's not how I want to be. So
Yeah.
you gotta take
Okay.
time, and then you upset with
Yeah.
me, but that's just the piece that I need.
Right. So let's explore this before I bring the fellas in, because I want to make sure in this podcast, like I said, we're always talking to each other, and I want to make
Mhm.
sure that we as men and we're not assuming. Oh, she feel bad. Okay. Well, what does feel bad mean? Right. That can be a matter of perspective. If you can't, like, how does that really make you feel? If you mind sharing with us, like, because it's almost like a rejection, right? Because I can only imagine if I'm intentionally talking to you, and then that drops off. Like, what are some things you feel inside yourself you find yourself having to kind of deal with in regards to that person now?
I just try to love on them, right? So I got to give you respect and understanding, right? And then I have to also, I got to be patient with you as well. Just give you your space. We'll work together. You want to eat? I'm gonna convince you with food, right? Are you hungry? Right? Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll go get a drink. I like to have peace,
Always. No.
fun. Yeah, like we can work on the details. I like to write things down when I have issues so that I'm clear in my communication with them so that I didn't miss anything. I didn't say it incorrectly. And you got exactly what I was thinking, right? I just have to write it down nice because I'm really an asshole, but so
at, at least she's self-aware. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, honesty is the key.
So, so fellas, if we can, I want you guys to kind of chime in here briefly. I think Josh has kind of set the foundation. Again, you can hear me, but are you listening? A woman's talk on a man's ears. Yeah, we
Mhm.
hear because we have ears, but are we really understanding? And just kind of piggybacking on some of the things that she kind of shared. First and foremost, I just want a response from you guys quickly. Now that she kind of expressed what it is that women actually do when they're trying to hear us, and we do sometimes have that pride. What do y'all think of just that in itself? No, not necessarily kind of going into the wash, so to speak, but just hearing a woman say that, like, because to me, in my mind, it's almost like in a stadium yelling with someone's hand over your mouth. I'm trying to get everybody to hear me. To me, that was like more of a strain, but I want to kind of pick you guys' mind as a male with a woman standing. Like, what came to your mind as you heard that, Frankie?
I'm kind of confused. So are you saying, are you trying to lead with pride, or are we like diving into the conversation, and if the man is paying attention, or
So what I wanted to do just with us as men hearing that, like if this is a lady that's saying, hey, this is how I feel, this is what goes on. Let's take it out of the realm of whether it happened to a person or not. But this is just a woman who's saying to guys, hey, when I'm being intentional and talking to you, I feel shut down, not listened to where I gotta go and do some self-work. Like as
okay,
men, what do you all think? Like just hearing that, like what does that speak to within yourself, if anything?
okay. So with the intent of them feeling like, hey, I got something to say, and I don't feel like you're listening to me.
Right.
It's man, it's kind of, I won't say broad. It's a whole range of things that could be going on. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes men get that little Charlie Brown teacher deal going on when they trying to focus on something else, and you hear your girl wah 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 wah. Yeah, and you looking off in the distance doing something else, or it could be a multitude of things. Like, man, this goes back to figuring out like who she is, and same thing as Josh said. You know, you gotta figure these things out. Like, what's his I forgot what you said, Josh. Like, what's his fun, and what sets him off and what triggers. But it's these things. Like, maybe he probably asked you earlier, like, hey, it seems like something going on, and then you probably didn't feel like talking. And then when you finally feel like talking, you like, well, shit, I asked you like 30 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? Because some people are like that, men and women. You know what I'm saying? Like, like you got to give them a minute. Like, sometimes I know with me, it's right then and there. I got to tell you right then and there. My girl, give me a minute, goddamn it, give me a minute. I'm like, man, it's all that minute. You know? Like, I need to know right now. That way I can figure it out. But sometimes it's like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to give it a minute. And as the boyfriend, you be like, okay, okay, I know it take her a minute. She got to calm herself down, this, that, and the other. So when she ready to talk, I know she'll come holler at me. And it'll be just like that, vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
go ahead.
Now, Frank, I want to do something. Carlos, I'm going to bring this to you because I just feel like you will execute this part like good.
I'm glad you got faith in.
I did this intentionally. Notice what happened with us as men, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we do this without thinking. I'm not picking on Frank, but I understand why. That's why I went to him first. We usually are quick to be thinking as fixers, right? Without the reality, how did she feel?
Mm-hmm.
So the whole goal was, did we put ourselves in position after she told us how she feels? Did we first really gauge and see how she really felt, right? It's natural in us to be a fixer. And that's why I went to Frank. You know, that's Frank. Like I said, he's my needle and thread, right? We the cloud, he's my needle and thread. But I turn on you, Carlos, that's usually what happens. Even when the female is telling how they feel, we assume we know how they feel, and so we go into the fixing mode, right? If you want to touch on it, and then what I wanted to do, I wanted to turn it back over to Josh to see if she saw that, or how does that feel to rush in with the fixing mentality without having I first validate your feelings. So Carlos, you would go, and then we'll turn it back over to Josh.
Okay. And actually, you're right. One of the first things we do is fix, and it's within our nature and within our being. To some, it could be a fault, and to others, it could be a saving grace. But to be honest, if your girl or your mate is coming to you, normally it's coming to you. And again, this is not every situation. We're not speaking for every woman and every man. But a lot of, I've been faulted for this too. She's coming to you when she has a problem. So my first idea is, how can I fix that problem? You know, and I hear the first part, and then I want to fix that first part. Don't let her get to the end. So as men, sometimes we're kind of geared that way. Now, it's not excuses, but I mean, it is relevant, meaning that since I've been young, is do this, do that, fix this, fix that, maintain this, do that. So that began to be a structure. So when I hear a conversation, I heard her talk. Now, the man I am now, I kept listening. But if I had to be honest and say the man I was then, I would have heard the first part and say, okay, man, let me fix that. Let's not go there. Let me fix that. And then go there, not realizing that first part she talked about, that was just the runway to where we were going. And as I kept listening to her talk, I realized, she wouldn't ask me to fix that first part. If I would have listened and got through there to the middle, I would have saw I really ain't got to fix nothing.
Yeah, she already figured it out. She just wants you to listen to it.
And I said, okay. Yeah. But as men, that's something that's geared with us too, you know, and it can be a catch-22. But right now, I'm speaking for the men because, again, I am male, Now, also too, the delivery, and I really appreciate when Josh did it when she said their delivery too, because sometimes some people can't deliver right.
Right.
So you take it as you give, the energy given, the energy taken away.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. So starting out off the muscle, I was like, then I paused and said, let me keep listening. And as she kept talking, I was like, okay, I get it. She's not asking me to fix it. She's asking me to listen. So that's my
Right.
opinion.
Okay.
And usually what happens, and I'll come to Josh, and I love the fact, even when she said that she tried to do some self-reflection. And I think that's huge, right? That's like the icing on the cake, just to be honest. And we don't recognize that whole process. It is it's one thing for a person to come as a woman to say, this is how I feel, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about it in context. I think you were speaking of showering, right? That's a very personal thing. Let's just put that on the table. And for it to be met to where you hear me, but you're not listening, and then even to the point, let me go do some self-reflection. Josh, that's why I wanted to bring it back to you. Do you have any second thoughts when you go and do your self-reflection of how it makes you feel, far as that's that almost like that door shut in your face, so to speak? Like, how do you get to from that bridge of I put it out there and I can clearly see it's not clicking until you find the time to self-reflect? Because I can only imagine, like, I just told you, right? Like, I'm on your side. Like, how do you deal with that bridge before you get to self-reflection?
I guess like you got to give it a few tries, right? Like even like with parenting, you got to ask. For me, I tell my kid, I only ask you because you're a person, but I'm gonna ask you to clean this room, let's say, and then I'm gonna come back and it's a problem, and then I'm not asking no more, and then it's gonna be an issue, and I'm gonna treat you like a child, and you're gonna get whatever. So with the man too, I feel like, okay, I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna tell you, okay, did you hear me? Maybe not. Okay, I'm gonna say it again, and maybe the third time, I'm just gonna really have like some tone that you're not gonna like, but then you didn't hear no other time, something like that. And but then it makes the solution we're trying to get to a little further. So I try not to do that too, but I'm bad at just sitting on it. I'm like, okay, but then I just add the little things up, bad habits.
That's like, you gonna mess around and find out. No, I'm just kidding. So this question, Josh, is more open, like just women in general. And this is one of those questions, like we said in our debriefing, where you're speaking to the men. What do you think is some negative residual effects of men not initially listening? Probably not necessarily in your experience, because it sounds like you're more forward thinking, but just with women in general, if you could talk to us men briefly, what do you think is some negative side effects? Because I know that we quickly see the light in when you get the attitude and the tone, and we want to judge them. But do you think there's some side effects to women when that kind of door closes, when we're on our pride trip and not listening?
Negative effects is just you're gonna get a different pushback. You won't have the same trust. I can't feel stable or secure, and because it just leaves me shaky, right? So because if you don't understand this, then we're not getting here. And this is the long-term plan that I told y'all I like to take my relationship as a business, right? But I need secure and money and how we're gonna do this plan. Like we live spontaneous today, but we still gotta move every day. We gotta make a move. So what does that look like? But if you can't give me what does parenting look like that works well, and that's my kid. Yeah. So but for everyone, you just gotta make sure that it works for you, because you have to take care of you and be respectful. And I like to fail fast.
Okay. Now you mentioned some that I think we all can agree as men. When we hear this word, I think a lot of time we go to the physical first. But you mentioned it in a way where it alluded to, and I won't put words in your mouth, it dealt with more of emotion, and that's safety. A lot of times with us as men, we think safety is just protecting you from any physical danger. But I like
Mhm.
what you said, and I want you to kind of expound on that when you said, "Hey, if you're not listening to me, I don't feel safe." Could you kind of
Mhm.
expound on that to the guys that because again, we just didn't feel she's protected and whatnot, but in this case, it was interesting you mentioned safety. Could you expound on that?
Yeah, because if I can trust you with anything, what I need to do, what I've done before, some past secrets, like thus trusting my feelings, trusting my heart, my mind. I want to give you my thoughts, right? If we exchange these things and you can't take the time to understand me, or you got it figured out, or you're going to just do it, or, if we're not working together as a team, then we're not doing anything. And I can't expect us to be moving along, being good. Like I like to build and grow. And if I don't have that, then we're not good. I can't be good. Like where are we going? I don't know where we're doing.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Okay. I think that's interesting. And what I want to do, I want to kind of segue to Los and Frankie. Now that we kind of heard that, that's Carlos said something earlier. We don't ever try to give an excuse, right? That's not what we do, man or woman. But we do believe that there are certain reasons, whether
Mhm.
they're right or wrong, that needs to be recognized for there to be any change or understanding, right? So Frankie,
Mhm.
Carlos, I heard her talk about um, how it makes it feel like when he was talking, it was like an erosion, right? Like I have you here, but if you're not listening, it kind of puts more pressure on me to be something I'm not.
Mhm.
Why do you think that's, and any of you guys can jump in on this, why do you think that's hard for a man to understand, especially about a woman he said he care about, right? Like,
Mhm.
why do you think that it's just such a hard thing for them to recognize initially until it's gotten out of hand?
Mm. Well, one thing that I can say that actually makes a good point is that a lot of times when it comes to situations, we are talking about our background, our theology, how we feel, how spiritual we are, and most importantly, and mainly is our experience. Um, um, a lot of times you've seen it where you go to meet someone and they have a kid or several kids, or however that may be, and then they're looking for a father for their kids. Now, that could have been the previous experience. So then we come to another experience. Then the first thing to do, just like the woman has, the man has his guard up as well sometimes. So he's trying to also protect himself too, but not being able to communicate clearly on what I've been through. Instead, you come in guarding yourself. I'm not trying to be their daddy or nothing like that. So when I say that, I'm not, again, it's not an excuse, but when you come to the table, sometimes you come to the table, you're bringing a lot of extra stuff that was not meant to be there. And the same thing for the young lady. She come in and can be dealing with, okay, I came from a relationship there with no communication. So I come into this, when you're speaking to me, I don't know how to communicate back. So my first defense is I don't know, I'm not the one, or whatever case may be. So hearing her talk, um, I was really impressed though, because, and Josh, I'm really impressed because you have the opportunity to say, okay, look, this is what I thought, this is what I understood, and you even able to practice. Say, okay, now I think I'm getting a better understanding of how to operate that. Because who knows? Again, I don't know if we were to speak, I wouldn't know. Um, like a good question would be, hopefully you come back around and answer that. If we were to talk, how long would it be before I meet your child?
Mhm.
So then I'm putting time into you, and I'm trying to get to know you, and then you bring the child in. So now I have to shift my focus and then try to combine the two. And
Right.
sometimes that can cause a problem.
Mhm.
So there are different factors that come into it that I'm like, hey, the background of each individual, but since I'm a male, those are some of the backgrounds that I notice I'm looking out for me too as well, because what we don't show it, but our heart's on the line as well. We,
I know.
we, we don't talk it, but our heart's on the line. Our emotions there. We just can't communicate it right sometimes.
I try to be aware of that too and respect that, but it goes both ways. I just need you to know who you're dealing with. I go in
Yeah.
with that in any situation, phone calls, business. I want to kind of fill you out and treat you as such because you.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think that's important. And Frankie, if you have anything to add on to this, then you can. But I think it's important in this case if the woman's already kind of laid it out there, and we're just simply not listening. What I want to
Mhm.
do, I want to speak to that as men. And again, we don't speak for all men, But I do want to address that to our guest, far as do we check that pride, right? Like she said something that I thought was interesting, especially coming from a woman that, yeah, we men and we got it. And I'm like, but that shouldn't just be given, right? We should earn that, right? And I think that, again, not putting words in her mouth. So Frankie, like, what does that look like to you in taking that pride? Like you said earlier, like sometimes I'm not listening, but now sometimes we probably need to check that thing in that moment to not get that build up.
It's kind of weird trying to explain that. I'm trying to get my thought process around it, and I feel like I need to tell the audience this, like, okay, I feel the point that we're trying to make is, okay, Josh already has a kid, and the person that she's trying to talk to, she's trying to let them know that, hey, this, that, and the other with my kid. So it's, and the only thing I could come up with, and I'm thinking like, as a man, it's a whole multitude of things. Like, okay, is the biological father still in his life? Okay, if you want me to set ground rules or do this and do that, is it cool? Then you thinking in the back of your mind, like, do I need to check my tone? Does this need to happen? Does this need to happen? Can I go that far? Or can I treat him like this? Or do I gradually need to figure out how to build up to where I can be like, hey, don't do that, you know what I'm saying? Or do I just need to come back and tell, hey, Josh, man, I don't think you need to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I really, man.
Why is that not a conversation though? Just like you said it, right? You can ask me all of those things.
But I guess Jay want me to come like give a point from somebody that, and I'll be asking you all these.
That's what you're saying. That all of those things considered, right? I do every single answer. And do you want to work with what we got to deal with? Whatever factors are, that's all. And you either yes or no. Or
yes or no, yeah.
Act accordingly. But you got to be the position. Just do it, right? Don't can't step on me. Also, I feel like we got
to see that's the thing, because I wouldn't want to step on you, because at the end of the day, it's not my kid. And if I feel like I'm gonna even come back like, hey man, I think I overstepped my you know, if I did, you know, I'll apologize until you like, no, you all right, or like, yeah, you did. And I'm like, yeah, my bad. I'm tripping.
I have a little kid, so he's like, you know, you talk to a young man, so and he'll listen to you. He's not crazy, you know. He'll give you. So
I think one of the challenges, and I think Frank is hitting on something. A lot of time with the challenge are, and Carlos and I, we just talked about it before we got on air, is that sometimes we're set in our way of thinking, and it's more matter of factly that in itself, and Frank, you actually kind of answered it, you just kind of expressed it from your point of view. Sometimes when we have our set way, that in itself is what gets in the way. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Now, to me, Joshua, you talk to me, I'm super bad. Like, you look, but I didn't listen to you. There could be something, and so I like what you said, just saying that. And but I think what was challenging when I asked Frank, because a lot of time, and I'm doing this for the audience, right? A lot of time we can't speak to that because it's not something we see. Like Carl said, it's an excuse, but this is the reason. Sometimes it's just like we got this pride thing right here, and Josh said, hey, come here, I need you. We just come in and we don't realize we bring in this too. That could be the very thing that's in the way. Right?
Yeah.
We're trying to speak for some that we didn't take time by ourselves. And I love what I said. Sometimes I do some self-reflection. Man, do we reflect? Like when we even, while she come here talking, do we stop right there? Change the narrative. Oh, what do she want to talk about? Oh, it has to be something important if she interrupt the game or felt. Do we take that time to self-reflect? Or do that man automatically dismiss? Josh, does that make sense? Am I hitting on something?
Yes, sir.
Jump in whenever you're ready. Talk to me.
Definitely. I just want to make sure that we can talk to each other and work together and get it done. Like Frank was saying, all of these factors do work, and that you have to ask all those questions in everything in our relationship.
Yeah.
We talk about money and school and work and everything. So you're building, and you want to be good at something that they not good at, so y'all can work together in that. It's just understand it is still going to be, a good fight, as long as you fighting good and respectful and, that kind of thing. So let's work together and get that done. But you don't have to be like, step on me, you step on, and I don't listen, and I don't know what all of this is. And you could just ask me and we could talk about it. You ain't got to be nice, right? It ain't got to be the way you want it to be. It ain't got to be the ending that you hoped it would be, but somewhere in the middle. And yeah.
Okay.
And let me elaborate. It's one of those things like, man, if I know I want to be with Josh, that's just one of the things I'm gonna have to get on. Josh has a kid, so hey, what do I need to do? And hopefully it doesn't get that far to where Josh got to cut the game off and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? I should be asking these things like, what little man like, or when's his birthday, or do you need help with him? Before you overstep your bounds, because sometimes some guys will just come in gung ho and be like, hey, I bought this, I bought that, and you looking like, I ain't. Hey, look, slow, pump your brakes.
Yeah. you always kick the door in at the right time, and that's what I was wanting to get at. Like again, we unfiltered. I didn't want to be scripted. That's the thing. Self-awareness. Remember, emotional intelligence. First step. Self-awareness.
That's my idea.
Why she did? But like you said, if I know she got a whole kid, I'm proactive with that, right?
Right.
I want to bring it to you, man. Why do you think it's hard for us to see that pride? And I do this for a reason. I'm gonna kind of share some behind the scenes, and I'm gonna turn it over to Carlos. I chatted with Frank. I said, "Thank you for allowing me to pick on you." Because I want to get real. This is real conversation. It's not scripted. Like we have debrief when we talk about pointers, but we give real experience, right? Like this is not scripted. But it goes to show how it's hard for us as men. And Carlos, if you can chime into that a little bit. Here's a woman here that's, hey, this is what I'm saying, right? Again, it's a child talking about how much work you get. This is how I feel. Why do you think it's hard for men to penetrate that pride? And like we say, can you hear me? We haven't even gotten to the listening part.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's so hard to penetrate that pride and not even hear sometimes where a woman is coming from?
I think sometimes. Sometimes I think we have matter of fact, before we even go to the woman, there's an expectation we have of ourselves. There's an expectation of how we want ourselves to look, be presented, want to be perceived. So when we come into the picture, we want to come in as that savior, that warrior, that fighter, that we want to be all that. But then when the woman starts talking, we're like, okay, this is not matching what I checked off. All of a sudden, maybe a little bit of fear or a little bit of apprehension, and all of a sudden we throw pride in because that's a cover up for us. That's an easy way for us to back up on that. And I'm just going to be honest, a lot of men have not even been in place to get proper parenting. Now they're looking to be a parent. So there are so many factors when it come into that. And I can only speak for myself. Most of the times when I came into it, what feared me the most was I'm inadequate in an area, and that area that I'm inadequate in, I don't want her to know that. So I try to cover that with that. But then when we have an opportunity to talk, I don't want to. Most time talking puts me in that area that I'm inadequate. So back when I was young, I didn't want to talk then. So it seemed like I was like, no, I got this. I'm good. Well, that's a safety mechanism. Something I was geared when I was younger. And I mean, like Frankie said, I keep it a buck. A lot of what I gather was, and it's unfortunate, but back in high school, you went after this type of dude. So when I got older, I was that dude. But then when you got out of school, you didn't want that type of dude. So that meant I spent my life trying to be modeled that, and I come to a woman with that and realize that's not what you want. Now I'm afraid, because guess what? What you're looking for, I don't have. Now I got to build it on the fly. So that means I got to be vulnerable with you and begin to try to build that. And what man want to lay their heart out to get trampled?
Right.
So a lot of times that's just a fear mixed with pride.
Thank you for that. Mm-hmm.
Josh, I want to share this with you, and I would love your response. No, this is me just being transparent. I know Carlos alluded to it. Upbringing has a lot to do how it influences humans. But in this context, men, I know in my family early on, it was perceived because I had education, I was always the fixer in my family. Okay. I was always called upon to do the grown-up stuff. And so I remember early on, I took on the mindset of fixing. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, there were relationships that I was in to where I got overcompensated, wanting to have the solution so bad. The person didn't want to listen, they just wanted me to listen to, and it ruined the relationship, right? And so you kind of talked about this in the debriefing, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, but I wanted to kind of just pick your brain just as a woman. What are some things that you look for in that guy to kind of give you an understanding? Can you share these spaces with them? And it's not rocket. It's not an exact science, right? It's just some bad apples out there. But what are some things from a woman's standpoint that you check to make sure, or you engage in conversation, that you can even share this space? Is there someone that can actually hear it and or listen to me prior to?
So I guess initially I want to see how they communicate anyway. That's off rip, right? So are you sending me like short texts with "you too busy" or I don't know, like a kid kind of thing? I can't do it, cut, fail, next, right? So I want to have a good conversation with you, or you engage me and you want to know about me. So if you don't do those things, we're not working anyway. And then what are you talking about, right? We're talking about politics, stock market, something like that. I'm interested. You want to learn how to golf? Cool. But if you just like, next, no, that's not what I like to do. I'm not going to drag you nowhere, and I'm not going to have you unentertained. I like to have fun. So just stuff like that. And always to learn and want to learn. And that's very important to me.
Now you just have to throw that in there, golfing. Just like you took a little funky lesson today. I mean, ain't nobody hate you. You know what I mean? I just want to throw that out there to the audience. I did say little and funky. I did say that. Little funky.
Man. Hey. Oh.
You know what I mean? That's
okay.
That's that pride. That's that pride.
Let's turn right. But now I want to turn our attention. And again, if you guys are just joining us, this is a podcast. Man, we have the Queen Joshua here, man. Wonderful soul. I met through social media. Social media can be good for some things. Just engage on her post, man. I found very interesting, and I asked her to be on the show because I thought that she was very thought-provoking. You can kind of tell. Sometimes people speak before thinking, but you can tell she was one of the ones that think before she speaks. And I'm like, yes, come on in. So here we are. You can hear me, but are you listening? A woman's talk on a man's ears. And so what we've been doing, we've been talking about from a woman's standpoint when they feel that the male species is not listening in any capacity. Now, tonight we use, for example, in child rearing. That's that woman's child. She knows that child, and she's trying to kind of orchestrate how you can partner with that. If we as guys, we just come in with our pride, right? Not taking clues, not taking the help, if you will. Right. We even mentioned some of the things we were talking about from a safety standpoint, right? It's not all physical, but it's more from a safety. Can I trust you? Now, what I want to turn my attention to, Josh, what does a man actually listening to you looks like? Okay. I want our audience as men kind of just tune in, fellas. We always say we're not beating up on no gender, but this is the ladies, this they foundation right now, right? So we got to put our big boy drawers on, like the old school said. But I want you to, in your own way, to paint a picture. What does a man actively listen to you sound, not hearing it, but actively listening? What does that sound like, look like, from your standpoint?
Well, the man that I know, definitely a black man, right? But the man that I know, he has listening ears all the time because he's always watching. He's, making sure we're safe. There's nothing around. He's very intentional. He listens. So what do you like to do? We always going to the store, so I'm gonna pay attention. We always at the store. What are we getting? Right. And when she needs something, she's probably gonna be acting like this, but she kind of giving you hints, like paying attention. That's me listening to me because you already should know what's coming or what it feel like, because it felt like that last time. So it's probably something like that. I think that's what a man listening listens to. So if you hear me complaining, I just need you to stop and like just listen to it. Like, okay, she's trying to say like, oh, why don't I just get to know him, hang out with him? Maybe he'll listen to you. It's easy.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. What does that look like? Because I think a lot of times men also confused when it's just time. Let's walk up to it, give constructive criticism. Hey, you didn't do that right. Let's just say for the sake of the tone is correct, the timing is correct, and it's just time to. I gotta call you out on that, right? To redirect. Do you find that, and not necessarily with your personal space, because I don't want to. I want to respect some measure of privacy. I think for being open. But why do you think some men find it hard to take constructive criticism and women are doing it out of love to try to better or advance the relationship?
For me, I'm going to say that it's because you think that I'm going to be your leader. I'm not trying to guide you. I'm just giving you insight. I'm guiding you, but I feel like I'm supposed to be your backbone, right? You the head walking us, right? But I'm still your intuition. And I want to make sure that you're doing the right things because I see stuff differently than you do. And what I feel like I know better, money, feelings, obviously. So communication and teaching each other stuff like that, listening, those are things that I study, right? And then when we talk about kids, I probably don't know how to do it as well as a mom versus a man talking to a boy, right? I don't know those things, but you still have to deliver them well for us to all take it and move with it, right? So then we can march along and get to the next thing and iron it all out, right? It's structured. That's what you're trying to get to, but you fighting it.
Right. Man, you said a mouthful, fellas.
Yeah.
Why is it hard for us to take constructive criticism from a female, especially one that we want to better us and compliment us, all that good stuff that we say? Not us personally, but why do you think some men find that as a challenge, man? Or is that an extension of pride? What do you think?
It's the pride, but it's one of those things, man. And you know what? I want to come back to the fixing, because I think that ties in well with this. Now, through this whole conversation, it kind of make it look like fix it as a bad thing. The problem is, can y'all fix it together? Right? So as a man, some men like to fix things separate, and there are like alpha women out there too that are like, hey, I got it, I'm gonna fix it. But to the point, you have to fix it together. Same thing. Dealing with that, like it has to be some type of togetherness. As get the pride out the way. If Josh if I'm trying to golf and I know Josh been golfing like for a whole life, like, hey Josh, come on, man. I need to I gotta figure this out. I got a business meeting I'm going to, and I gotta impress the boss so I can get this. Hey Josh, come on, let's go do this. You can't be afraid. As a man, you can't be afraid. Me, I know I can't handle money good. That's why I pin everything off on. Like, hey, what we gotta pay? How much I gotta give you? What it is that. If y'all ain't working together, then why y'all together?
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing, man. But it most of the time it's pride, and it's like, man, and it's also like a man wants to show you that, yeah, I can do everything. It's kind of like it's peacocking.
Right.
You know, I
Right.
like Josh that much. I got a peacock for it, and then it backfires on. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, show like, damn your wings. Damn.
Pluck all these feathers off, goddamn.
The wings can't bowl or play golf, so what?
I'm trying to impress you though, baby.
Yeah. Boy.
Yeah.
Carlos, man, I want to see if you had something to add on to that. I'm gonna go back to something Frankie said, but
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that you didn't lose your thought. Again, you can hear me, but are you listening? A woman's talk on a man's ear. Carlos, what you got?
I kind of, and I get what Frankie's saying too, and I kind of was hitting around the same line. Frank, I need to find that, man. Can you see my notes? No, I need
Johnny Carson on that.
But you know what comes to mind is that too, because again, we want to make sure too that we understand that pride itself is not bad. It's how pride is utilized is the problem in that case.
Yes.
But when talking here, as I'm listening, and Josh, I'm gonna be honest, boy, you make this hard because you got the right mindset, you got the right everything.
All the right answers.
I can't win against this. She talking, she saying all the right things. I'm like, yes, yeah.
Hey, podcast over.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hard work, but and people be like, nah, you just imagine this. I'm like, what? That's interesting.
Wait a minute.
No, vulnerability.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the key things. And I'm kind of like siding with Frankie. If we coming together and we're talking, and as I was listening to Josh, she was basically it sounded like she was, okay, look, be vulnerable, open yourself, pretty much talking is opening yourself up. That's being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me. Let me meet you, and we can discuss like the yes and the no's. A yes or no is much easier than a I don't know and a guess.
Yes.
So if we take the time to talk, it's easier to get that communication out, because in some cases, and then too, I'm gonna add. I just came to. I want to add something too. And Frank here too. Some men, they can't get it. They want to, okay, what's your favorite color?
Mm-hmm.
Versus looking at what you got in your you could have all pink in there, and that only be your favorite color. It just had to be on sale. But a lot of men are like that. There are some things that I'm like, okay, look, on this one, I can't read your mind. You got to tell me. You like tulips or daffodils? You know, because I go to the store, they're going to have roses, flowers. So I'm a pick flower. To me, a flower is a flower. And so a lot of times, that's where that vulnerability piece come in, to understand, okay, you know, and again, Josh, you're a perfect example. You're going to meet me. Once you see the man trying to make the move, most women will meet you there. And I saw you looking at flowers. I like these type of flowers. That's meeting. That's showing their vulnerability. That's coming. Let me talk to you, not at you and around you.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of.
That's where that safety comes in, and also I wanted to take the time quickly to spin back to something Frankie said, and I was thinking about how our pride gets us grossly wrong on this. You know, the term alpha male. You know, and we even have an alpha female, but. In actuality, what you want to be is a beta male. An alpha male exceeds in high levels and things of that sort only because he does not trust people around him. So he throws himself and becomes an expert in all things. The downside to being an alpha male, you usually don't work well with people. Long story short, a beta male is a complement of, I can do those things, but I leave room for someone to come in. So it always amazes me. I just sit in here and I thought about it when Frank was talking with, I'm an alpha. I'm just like, and that's the problem, right? Like that is a badge of honor. But I guess since it comes first, alpha comes first. It's just sexy to say I'm an alpha male. No, you probably want to be more of a beta male.
Yeah, I think people just like that term, man.
Right.
When all actuality is, you get caught up with that. But like it's in all walks of life, a good leader listens and does. You know what I'm saying? And like they know when they're not good at one point, they guess what? I gotta appoint somebody. I gotta get somebody with me because I know I know I can't do this. I can do this, but I need somebody to help me do this.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And you can't be, as a leader, you can't be afraid to come like, hey, come on, you coming with me because we got to figure this out. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right, but I know you do. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what, Josh? I'm actually glad. You know, we were joking at first where we were saying like it's like you have all the right answers, so to speak. But I think that's exactly where we wanted to land, right? Because in the beginning, remember what we talked about is man versus woman, and it's like the reality of it is here again another show where the solution is together. Like it don't even matter about who goes first. Like that's so irrelevant at the end of the day. And I love how you transition on your own accord. Like the ultimate goal sometimes we forget is to do it together. It's the help. It's the help in the places. If I just can't do it, like Frank said, if I can't do it, I got someone to do it. That's an easy answer, right? Like why bust my head or knock you just because these gender roles, right, says I'm supposed to be the one. Look, if you see somebody hit me all across the head, you better protect me too. Like, ain't not saying because I'm a man or I'm gonna protect myself. No, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Get me knocked out. But I think that's a great. Say it again.
I got the 380.
Right.
I got we are some prayer sessions that we can. Okay. Hey, that was almost
that's
like
unfiltered for you, baby.
Hey, that was almost like a commercial break. That brought it back to that physical safety. We just threw that in there. We just threw that in there for y'all. But no, seriously, let's go here. When you get these things, Josh, when you know that the man hears you, and you know that the man is listening, what type of woman do you think that makes you? What confidence does that make you feel when you know you have both of them?
Yeah, that's the woman you want. That's the woman that's gonna make you more. She's gonna take your money, expand that. She's gonna grow you. And if you're listening to her and she's like, "Oh, baby, you know, your email, you can't have that on there when we're doing business. Change this." Not give her a fight about it. Hey, change your social media. I want you to change the things you're looking at. You're feeding yourself. Okay, baby. You can put girls on a separate account, but we're gonna focus on here. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Just listen. We working and we growing, and that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to make you better so you can make us better.
Right,
now I want y'all to notice something. You said some great words, but I want y'all to notice that big Kool-Aid smile that came to her face. Like, you a little bit. Oh, my man, you right. I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying?
Need you good, you know. So make sure you're right. Yes, your schedule's good. You growing. Your money's good. Yes.
Yeah.
Write all that down for the list.
What I'm hearing,
taking notes.
Is what I'm hearing is that if we are actually hearing them and listening, watch this. It makes them a better help to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've always talked about, y'all know in past episodes how, man, that gender bias and that gender stuff can really affect us when we try to live up to this. What the world says a man is, what the world says a woman's supposed to do. Like we can really become more robotic to where we can have the right intention but the wrong process. You know, the reality of it is just like Josh said, is that okay, when we're operating, and notice, Josh didn't say we have to be perfect. I think some of what Frank alluded to, we put that extra pressure on us, right? Like we gotta get it right and whatnot. Well, sometimes we need to get it wrong, but they can compliment us in that space. And I think like Carlos, where that pride comes in to where, no, I got it. No, you should have it by using, you know, the mate that God bless you with. And so I think that's huge because ultimately that's where we want to be. One last thing, man, before we get out of here. Now that we're at this landing point that it takes both, and this is just from anybody, man, to chime in on it, if you all have a comment on it, then why is it so hard, kind of go back to full circle, for us to listen to each other? And again, we're men to women. Now we this is not our turn, right?
Mhm.
And why is it so hard for us just to, because notice she's not saying anything different than what she said in the beginning. And she's willing to do the self-reflection on her own. So why is it the very thing that we want the helmet and whatnot, pride aside, why don't we talk to that pride? Why is it a hard thing?
Man,
I mean,
go ahead,
no,
Frank.
you got it, low. So I went last time. You go ahead.
Oh well, one thing that I noticed that men don't say, and we don't like saying, but hurt and pain, it causes you to do certain things. And I just be honest, got hurt when I was younger, when I put my all into something, and after I got hurt that one time, I ain't doing this no more. So that was not a good feeling. Now I'm not saying that women don't feel it, but I wasn't talking about the woman. I was talking about me. So moving into it, I had safeguards up. And as soon as I saw myself going close to that place that could possibly damage that safeguard or put me in that place to cause that, I would either withdraw, retract, or I would not let it get that far. So I think we talk a lot about, again, backgrounds and pride and all that, but there are so many factors that fall up under that umbrella that we don't know, because pain can make you do things that you wouldn't normally do, or the fear of pain.
Right. Isn't that interesting? And that's probably a whole nother podcast with itself, Josh.
Mhm.
That as we're expressing and showing this admiration and adoration in you, we're reluctant to show the true emotion that we're actually feeling about ourselves. Which can't be done, but that's another piece. I can't give you what I can't give myself. It won't happen. We can't give our children that which we can't give ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really for men to really just think about again. You can hear me, but are you listening? A woman's talk on a man's ears. And notice I'm not saying talking at his ears, because they're our ears. We get to decide and think for ourselves. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when they've done their part, they're articulated, and we just rush in for whatever reason, pride, upbringing, background, theology, as Carlos alluded, and we're just shutting it down. And what effects and or trauma that can have on a woman's standpoint. You had some, Ado, you had a thought before I kick it back to you?
Yeah. Let's dive into this too. Don't be afraid too, Josh, to let that man, fall on his face. Sometimes life is about, falling, learning bruises and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that way he can get back up and be like, you know what, baby, yeah, you was right.
And you were there for him,
and men don't be afraid of. I told you so.
Right.
I told your ass. Don't be afraid. Like, yeah, baby, yeah. Just tuck your tail and be like, yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have did that, man.
I want to hear from you on that point, because you are a mother and you have someone, and so there's a natural inclination typically with women to protect, right? Protect or to nurture,
yeah.
But hearing that, what does that speak to, where there are times where our pride needs to allow us to fall, to learn, like a baby. They don't fall, but that's how they learn how to walk. Like, what does that look like just from your aperture and bouncing it just as a woman in that nurture, but yet allowing that balance to allow me to make some mistakes, so to speak? What does that look like? Not necessarily just in your world, but just in the world of a woman in general, talking to men.
Okay, it would definitely have to be like, how do I explain this? Go with what we move. I don't know how to explain it. It's like I'm stuck.
Yeah, do you like take your time, baby? Take your time.
No, here's the thing, and this is why, again,
I'm doing my part, right? Because that's what I'm. If we're a partnership, right? Two
Mhm.
people or three people. In my dream, no, but two people. Two people, and we're supposed to be working together, right? But
Yeah.
we're not doing that because whatever reason that can be solved, and we should be working on it as a team. Then what are we doing it for? And then we're
Right.
the whole goal, and that's the problem. And
Now, with that, that man is too private.
Right.
right,
Because
Like it.
at the end of the day, man, it's like, do I really want this to work, or am I just getting in my own way? Like I didn't did my way 85 times and came up with the same 85 results, the same, which is
Right.
me falling flat on my face, and I still
Right.
refuse. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's a
But
tough
you
one,
know
Josh.
what, man? Sometimes that I told my son this a couple weeks ago. The, the scariest thing about a man's pride is that it's one of those things we wake up and realize we have, but we're not taught how to. There's no way we can be taught how to prepare for it, right? It's just like the air that walks outside. You know, if it's bad outside, it's already done hit me. You know, I can't. No, there's no I can plan for it. It's one of those things we have to constantly recognize, and like we talked about before the show, be proactive and just have those conversations. Remember we talked about that, Joe. Like we are so afraid and don't know how to talk these days. Like I look at people on social media where they just arguing. It's social media. Like you don't know that person. Like we've lost the art of sit down, voice your opinion. I voice mine. You voice yours. I voice mine. No emotion. We agree to disagree. We come like we've lost that art.
yeah.
Yeah,
We've lost that art. We come in and assume. You know, if Josh has these 5 things, I know she got the other 5. And if she don't have all 10, something wrong with her. But if you notice what we've been talking about is self-reflection. We got to do our homework before we even expect it from other people. I love what you said earlier, Josh. And I want you, for our women out there in the audience, if you wouldn't mind just kind of expounding on that when you talk about that self-reflection. I know you're recapped on, but what does that bring us into your world when, okay, he's not listening? Yeah, I could go from A to Z on him, but let me go back and reflect and see what I can do or whatever. What does that look like? If you could tell us as men, what does that look like in your world? But I want us as men to better appreciate that when our women, our queens do that. What does that look like in your world?
So first thing I'm going to do is acknowledge that whatever we are trying to communicate with each other didn't work, right? So I have to write that down. What didn't work, right? I write everything down in journals. I have so many books around my office and stuff. I like to write things down. I need to see it. I need to feel it and see, is that exactly how I feel? Makes it more clear for me. And then once I look at that, did I handle it right? Did I say it wrong? Could I have done better? You know what I'm saying? Did that look that translation? Could he have gotten it, or could he have forgotten it, misconstrued, miscommunication? Right? Okay, if I could have
Right.
done better, so next time I will do better. But are you paying attention? We're going back to paying attention. Oh, babe. Oh, this time she shut up. She listened. She didn't speak over me. She didn't say anything to me in public. Like these are lessons I had to learn in having relationships with, good men. You just do I need to sit a certain way at the table? And, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to the one so you can look at the door. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You got to learn how to take care of each other. And when you can do that, you listen better, you work better together, and it kind of just circles back.
yeah.
Man, I'm gonna tell you this. That is so refreshing just to hear, right? Because I think sometimes we put so much energy on thinking we can change the other person, even if we're right. And look, I'm guilty for this. My hands up. I don't want people out there. No, that's not what you did. Look, I'm a work in progress. You know what I'm saying? The haters just come out the woodwork. I know you. That was 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown ass man. You know what I mean?
Who I was yesterday.
That part. I ain't even who I was this morning. Ooh, don't let me start.
Yeah.
But no, I thought that was refreshing because I think we're talking about in the spirit of compliment I made. You know, a lot of times we make that a gender thing, right? But can I learn from you that to me, if men took what you just said and just modeled that and fixed self, I can't help but to be a better person towards you.
Yeah.
And so I love that approach is so refreshing because I'm like, dang, instead of making it about the issue at hand, because I always believe this, safety security got to come first. Now, if it's not safety security, we can tackle some stuff, right? If it's immediate safety issue, baby, let me take over, right? If it's anything in that realm,
yeah, I'm gonna say so.
Right? But there are some times we have to be mature enough, and frankly, we talked about this, self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Let me set the emotions to the side. Let me do some thoughts. And the first I'm not gonna think about Josh. What she did wrong, what she didn't do it. Let's see if something I could do. Like you don't, and I probably get in trouble when I say this, but I think y'all understand. The majority of people understand. There are some women who don't allow that space. And so I think that's key, the fact that that is a normal part of your actual process. We always looking at right or wrong, but just to take that time, let me separate. And I'm talking about be real about it.
Yeah.
Not lie to you. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I know I'm right. Like, no, really take some time because I said it better. Just to go down that road, I think that's refreshing just within itself. And I think, Frank, that gives men something to model, man. There we go again. You need to into the small things to say, okay, what's she doing? Okay, let me get my quiet time. Or what is she thinking about, you know? So definitely, I would say pulling down that pride, that wall we put up of pride, and taking in our mind that you all are attacking us, you're against us. But the reality is, our queens have our best interest in mind. And definitely, if they have some opportunity where they can compliment us on it, we got to hear it first, right? We got to sometimes talk to that pride, like Frank and Carlos said earlier. We have to talk against the pride. Don't talk against our actual women, right? In order that they may be the compliments that they want to be. You guys, you can hear me, but are you listening? A woman talk on a man's ears. Josh has been so grateful, man, in joining us tonight. You have been a godsend on just talking about what does a woman thinks, what does she feel, what does she go through when she feels that the man, and this is any capacity. You know, I think we kind of stayed in the realm of relationships, but I think just human interaction, period, in today's society, it is so much against each other that the moment one of us say how we feel, if it doesn't align to what we think, something gotta be wrong. So this was refreshing, man, and you just opening up, painting that picture of that energy behind that's what I like. I'm trying to help. Like I want us to be better, right? It's not personal. And then even taking a step further, that if for whatever reason we don't get it, women take the time to self-reflect, fellas, to see if they can be better for us, right? So we don't have to do that. We don't have to come in. We don't have to worry. And you know, kind of like Frank said, we so afraid of letting them down. Well, they're already doing some self-inventory. We just got to do ours, right? We got to do our self-awareness in that state of emotional intelligence. This has been a great one. Frank, I thank you, man. You always kick down the door on some great ideas. This one here is a little challenging, Josh, like I told you before. Because
it was.
And I think when a woman come in, we are so programmed. I'm going to say this live. Even we find ourselves sometimes not speaking our truth in a sense, we are so concerned with not overstepping, not offending, not going wrong. But we got to speak our truth, right? And so I thank you for being a sounding board and speaking your truth, and then also having the tenacity to allow us to speak our truth in a conversation. Absolutely. I don't think nowhere tonight where we felt, you know, we overstepped anything like that. And so you actually taught us, right? I know you felt it long enough, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is going to be a good one for all parties involved. With that being said, man, we are going to close out of here, man. I feel like we can go again. Hopefully we can get Josh on again. I'm gonna claim it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But face
Come
looks
on
good.
back. Come
Gonna
on
claim
back.
it. Seems like she be good on the team. I'm gonna claim it to me. No pressure though, Josh. But look, thank you so much, man. We definitely love when we have our queens to come on to give their perspective. Even that sounding, but we don't have all the answers, right? And even when some things we talk amongst ourselves, we need your voice. So we thank you for lending yours. This episode will be out on YouTube and all our social media podcasts, so make sure you can find it. With that being said, man, I am going to give Josh the last word. I know we covered a lot of things, but Josh, this is an opportunity, man. What is something that you want to leave just men in general, right? Just men in general. What's that one or two, a couple takeaways that you think from this whole podcast? What do you want them to take away?
I would just say be the chief and the Indian. That's it. You do that, we good, and you can be the greatest man, and we all walking together. You know, that's the goal for the greater purpose, right? The tribe.
Togetherness.
Yeah. So just do that. Be the chief and the Indian, and we good. We rolling. Yes.
Right. You know what's a shame? It's almost like oxymoronic that in 2024, as you talk about relationships, you have to celebrate the fact when you're talking about doing it together. Like you would think that's automatic, but it's not. There are people in relationships still trying to do it separately. I was watching this show real quickly where they were in a relationship, and this woman was not jumping on women. We got to get that disclaimer, Josh, because, you know, man, we don't want to be labeled as female bashing. But the woman was justifying how in her mind she has to keep pretty much an exit strategy.
Okay.
And that was like, that's so counterproductive because
you never give it
energy will never fully go into the relationship because you have to take some energy to plan an exit strategy, right? Like it's not a fire drill or whatnot, right? I'm talking about something, you know, and she was married, a whole married lady. She was on this podcast. I'm like, well, I hope your husband ain't watching this. You know, that even relationships and togetherness, they're not all the time synonymous. So with that being said, man, we thank you so much, and we definitely do hope that we can get you back on either.
Really appreciate this conversation, Josh. I'm filthy, baby.
I thank y'all too.
I love it.
Teaching me.
It allows Say that again.
I said y'all was teaching me a lot. I appreciate it too.
All right, now we just get some of the golf lessons.
All James do is go to Top Golf, man. So you know.
Yeah, you know, that's all I got. And even that got to be on a good day. You know what I'm saying? She got her. My trainer told me to hold a big ball right here and stand in a small ball. I'm like, I didn't even know there was more than one ball in golf. Like, what are you talking about? Like, okay, well, get ready. Okay.
Nah, yeah, she had doing physical therapy while I was swinging. Yeah, she had me right.
I was thinking, I'm just like, your back or something. Like, what are you doing? Okay.
She wanted me to stand the way she wanted me to stand. Yeah, she had me right.
Already.
Okay. Look, I love this, man. You guys, we will be back again with a great episode on Unfiltered King podcast where men and women talk to each other. Again, I want to thank our guest, John, for coming on. As always, I want to thank Carlos, my co-host, Frankie. You know, always we thank you as a co-host for joining in. Man, until then, man, the Three Kings are signing off. We'll talk to you next time on Unfiltered King podcast.
Peace.